Hello friends, welcome to this seventh video on internal quality control. In this video, we will be seeing into the details of troubleshooting of internal quality control outlier or internal quality control errors. Corrective actions must be taken and documented when control results exceed defined tolerance limit. The laboratory personnel performing the test should determine the appropriate action to be taken for QC data that fall outside the established tolerance limit. Corrective action should be documented with the technician's initials and date. In response to the failed QC results, one of the three options can be chosen. First, continue. Continue without change if false alarm or rejection is identified, as in the case of 1(2)(s) violation of wasteguard rule. Second is pause the testing. Stop performing the assay, troubleshoot and continue when the error is fixed. Third one is to stop releasing results, troubleshoot and rerun previous samples after corrective action. So whenever there is a QC outlier or QC error, first try to recognize the problem and then try to solve the problem. Don't perform unnecessary calibrations. Do not just recalibrate. Calibration add noise and increase imprecision. So whenever there is a QC outlier, do not just follow the recalibration or rerun of the controls, which do not lead to solving the root cause of the error. Errors that occur in testing process may be either due to blunder mistake or may be due to random or systematic error. Blunder mistake include swapping of control levels. For example, level 1 control may be run in place of level 2 control or vice versa. They may be either random error or systematic error. Now, coming to the systematic error. A systematic error affects all specimens equally in a proportionate or constant manner. Systematic errors are generally due to identified causes and can in principle be eliminated. Errors of this type results in measured values that are consistently too high or consistently too low. Types of systematic error includes instrumental and observational. Observationals are parallelogs in reading a meter scale. Environmental factors include theoretical due to simplification of the model system or approximations in the equation describing it. Before troubleshooting begins in earnest, the laboratory should consider the possibility that common failure modes of the test system or the control system may be the cause of the out of control condition. The test system includes reagents, hardware and software. It may require more in-depth investigation and analysis. The laboratory should consider those few things in the test system that are known to cause problem or have a history in the lab of causing problem. This could include such things as the reagent integrity, the tubing and pumps used for sample dispense and the light source. The control system includes control material, the mean, standard deviation used to set Levy-Jennings chart and the process control rules applied. Any of this could be the first cause of out of control condition. The technologist or technician should verify the control material are in date, have been properly stored, have been properly prepared. Attention to be given to open wire stabilities published in the product insert. Most control material must be kept between 2 to 8 degrees Celsius even after reconstitution. So if the control material is kept at room temperature on the analytical bench most of the day, open wire stabilities and consequently control results may be compromised. The mean and standard deviation are key to an effective Levy-Jennings chart. Both must be calculated using sufficient data collected over a period of time, allowing for multiple calibrations, multiple reagent lots, maintenance and multiple operators when technique may be an issue. It is either the mean or standard deviation is out of synchrony when with actual test performance. The Levy-Jennings chart will frequently issue out of control results. Recalibration is often the first but misguided reaction to an out of control condition. Every time the laboratory calibrates, it creates an opportunity for introduction of new or additional measurement error. Consequently, if a laboratory calibrates more frequently than recommended by manufacturer, it is an indicator that quality control system is likely out of synchrony with the current test performance.
Let us see test system related systematic problem. First is instrument related or hardware problem. Instrument specific problems such as short sampling. A short sample can occur if the sample flow is restricted during aspiration or there is insufficient blood in the tube. This is sometimes apparent when low analyte concentration are seen in a relatively healthy ambulatory patient. This should raise suspicion and incomplete aspiration. Improper calibration. Errors in calibration will create errors for all patient samples. So this is most critical step for each laboratory. Accuracy of calibration must be verified periodically. This must perform at least every 6 months, no matter how stable the analytical system. Maintenance schedule. Each analyzer has a specific maintenance schedule detailed in the operator's manual. It is important for each laboratory to perform the specified activities in order to keep instrument performance within specifications and reduce the possibility of error. Specific cleaning instructions are provided for each analyzer system, and daily background checks must be performed to detect any such build-up of interfering materials. Systematic errors are generally due to identified causes and can in principle be eliminated. Now we will see what are the points of failure. Whenever there is an instrument failure, check for error messages printed or displayed. Refer to the troubleshooting section of the instrument manual. Reagent, quality control materials, calibrators. In case of failure of reagent, quality control material or calibrator, incorrect reconstitution, that is wrong or contaminated diluent, or use of the wrong volume of diluent, incorrect storage, that is left at room temperature for excessive amount of time. These are some of the reasons for failure. In this case, prepare fresh and allow enough time to dissolve. Bulk liquid reagents may be contaminated. Human factor includes reread the method. Check whether the correct sample volumes or reagents are used. Make sure that a step in the procedure was not missed where the correct procedures are entered. Whenever we are looking into the error of IQC, remember to check whether any calibrations has been done just before doing the QC. Any new bottle of reagent is open. Any new lot of reagent is being used. So coming to the next type of error in IQC troubleshooting is random errors.
Random error conditions occur well randomly, so all patient results prior to corrections are suspect. Most common cause of random errors are power fluctuations, temperature fluctuations, both environmental and incubation chamber, test operator mistake, technique in case of technique sensitive testing, reagent preparation, that is error in or inconsistent preparation of reagent, failure to constantly follow manufacturer instruction, inconsistent preparation of control material, and software malfunction. Once the cause of measurement error is found and corrected,
the next part is to resume the testing procedure.
Now how to identify whether the problem is solved or not. Run QC for evidence that problem has been solved. Document what you have done. Troubleshooting logs, QC annotations. Address patient results from previous good QC to when QC failure occurred. Repeat testing. Exclude inactive failed QC from data analysis if causes of the outlier is clearly identifying.
So with this we will be concluding this session on QC outlier troubleshooting. So keep following the internal quality control video series for more such lectures on internal quality control. Thank you.